Hi there, it's Cheryl, and we'll be doing an all occasion type of card today. You may notice I have no sentiment on the front here, and I have no sentiment on the inside. That will be reserved for later. And let me see. I have this attached with just the repositionable tape, so that I'll be able to take that off when the time comes and stamp my sentiment on. I'll be able to use my stamp apparatus to position my stamp, so then I know I'll get a good impression, because if I don't get a good impression the first time, I'll get it the second time. And we'll do a little flower shaping, and I have a mystery shaping tool to share with you today too. So some of the papers came from the Stampin' Up! Memories and More, the Magnolia Lane Memories and More card pack, and that's got a lot of nice little pre-cut bits in here. There's also some vellum pieces that are really nice. I know I'm going to be using those on cards. So I'm using bits from this and also from the Ballad designer papers. So these two, see, I'm using a little different one on the card we're making today. So it's not going to look exactly the same, and you'll be able to see another option. But so this and this came from the Memories and More card pack, and this is the paper that came from the designer paper, the Ballad designer series paper. We'll be using some bits of Mossy Meadow to mat all of our little pieces of cardstock here. I have a piece of like packaging cardboard, thin packaging cardboard, because we're going to pop up this bit here just a little bit when we put it on our card. And then on the inside, again, I have Whisper White cardstock, and that will be matted with the Mossy Meadow also. And this is Blushing Bride, and it's a 5x7 card. So it's a piece that's 10 by 7 and then scored and folded at 5 inches. The orientation of this card is going to be different too. It's going to be this way as opposed to this way. Nice, huh? Two different options. I also have some Whisper White cardstock. We'll be cutting our Magnolia out, and for that you'll need from the Good Morning Magnolia bundle. I'm using these dies. These are the 3 flower shaped dies, and then these are the 2 centers for the flowers. We need to cut 2 of the large flower petals, and 1 each of these, and then 1 large flower center, and then 2 small centers. The small centers will cut from the Saffron, and all the flowers will cut from Whisper White. And of course I'll need a card shaping mat. And I've sparkled up my flower a little bit with the Spectrum Noir sparkle pen. This is the clear sparkle. Oh, let's see, what else do we have? We've got a little Blushing Bride ink pad here and a sponge dauber. I have 2 types of glue. I have my designer's Dries clear glue adhesive. I'll be using that to put the flower together. If you're more comfortable with a glue gun, by all means use a glue gun. Glue guns don't like me, so I try to avoid them whenever possible. I don't know why I'm whispering like it's a big secret, because everybody that I know knows that I almost always get burnt with the glue gun. I have a lovely glue gun that my son got me for some occasion, and it works great, but I'm still scared. I'm scared. I have my Darice Repositionable tape so that I can put parts of the card together with the repositionable tape. Makes it very easy to take apart. I have my Take Your Pick tool. I'll be using the very small ball stylus on this one. And I have this really big ball stylus. Now, if you don't have this, that's where the mystery shaping tool comes in. And I'll show you that when we get to the flower shaping part. So, let's get started on this card. The biggest part, I guess, is going to be, oh, I want to do one thing so I don't forget. This piece here, I wanted this just a little bit smaller, just because I wanted to have just a little more of this cardstock showing in the background. So let me trim that down first, and then I'm going to scoot on off and cut out the pieces that we need to die cut for the flower, and then we'll come back and we'll do that. We'll shape the flower. Okay, so I just want to trim off 1/4 inch, and let's see. I think I'll cut from this side. Trim that off 1/4 inch. I chose that side because I have nice big flowers over here. Okay, now we want to trim one. I think I'll trim from this side because look, I got just little slivers of flowers there. So I'll trim that right there. Okay, so I trimmed 1/4 inch off the long side and 1/4 inch off the short side. Alright, so off I go to see Mr. Big Shot. I'll come back, I'll have some flower pieces cut, and we can color those and shape those. Okay, so I have my little flower bits cut out. The first thing we'll do is add some colors to these. I'm going to use the Blushing Bride and my little sponge dauber for that. So I get some ink on there. I'm going to dab that off a bit over here. I'm going to start in the centers, and I'm just going to flick out onto the petals. I'm leaving a good bit of white on there. And same on this one. Oh, I got a pretty good smudge there. Luckily, these are going to be on the bottom like this, and you really aren't going to see it. See? That's why I didn't get upset. So I'll be a little bit more careful on these. I'm working on a silicone mat here, and you'll notice I keep picking my ink up off the mat. That's just that much less ink I'll have to clean up later. Plus, I'm extremely cheap, I mean frugal with my crafting supplies, and I don't want to waste that ink. So I just pick it up and use it. If you watch my videos, you'll see me cut centers out of things that aren't going to be showing and all kinds of stuff like that. And some pretty questionable paper scraps sometimes too. Okay, so let's shape these flowers first. We'll get to those in a minute. I have my hot glue gun heating up over here. I'm gonna just suck it up and take my chances. And I'm gonna use the hot glue gun because it really does work really well for when you're putting flowers together. Okay, so I'm gonna take my big ball stylus here. I'm just gonna go all around the edge here of each of these petals. Oh wait, I promised I promised a surprise shaping tool, didn't I? There it is. I'll bet you have one of these in your house somewhere. And I'm just going to take the end of my spoon here. I'm going to shape the edges of the flowers. This is a rather flat flower, so there's not a whole lot of shaping that you need to do on it. See that? Look at there. All shaped. And we'll do the same with these. If you get a little crinkle in your petals, that's okay, because magnolias have a little crinkles in them sometimes. I like magnolia flowers. I think they're just so elegant. Okay, and there's that one done. And on to our little ones. And now I am just using the very point of my spoon and my mystery shaping tool. And I also said I was going to use this. And what I'm doing with that is I'm just going to go down the centers of these flowers just like this. And you see how that's going to pop them up. And it gives us that little center, like a little center vein. And you notice I'm not going all the way to the end. I'm just going about 2/3 of the way on the petal here. And just pull all those in. And with the big ones too. This isn't going to do as much of that popping in. Let me see, I got a little carried away, poked a hole there. No problem, it's going to be hidden away. Of course, you want to try not to do that, but... Okay, so I have these all ready to go for my flower. And I'm going to do a little bit of shaping on these. And I'm going to use that. I'm going to use the little bit larger ball stylus, I think, on that. And just pull them in. They'll start to pop up. This is one of the smaller ones. We'll go on each of the petals, and that gets it started. And I'm just going to press. Press, 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 press in the center. Do the same on this next one. This one though, this is going to go in the very center, and I'm gonna really crinkle this up. You'll see in just a minute. Okay, so I do my press, 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 but now I'm going to just pick that up and just smoosh that right around the end of my ball stylus like this. I'm going to roll it a little bit, because I want that to be really smooshed in there like that, you see? And then we have our last one, the big one. This is the big one, and we do the same thing with this one. Get those petals, or these little stamens, folding up. Nice. There we go. Look at that. And then I'm also gonna push them up a little bit too. And this one could use a little pushing up too. Alright, so we're ready to put the flower together. Let me bring my hot glue gun out here a little bit. And I'm going to start with the tiniest one, center part. I just put a little glop of hot glue on there. And then I quickly stick it in the center of this one. And I'm going to just fold that up around just like that before my glue sets up. And you see how nice that's going to be? And then I'm going to do the same thing with this one. This is quite a nice glue gun. It's a precision one. And And I forget if I got this for Christmas or my birthday. I don't remember, but it was a nice gift from my son. There we go. So we have our center all ready, and let's put the flower together. So I'm gonna put it on this piece. Give that a nice good size bit of hot glue there. And then I'm going to offset the petals on this. Now I didn't show you before I put that down, but and you can't really see with this. I'll show you with the next size one. You'll see there's two petals that are kind of close together like this. And then there's one that kind of is by itself sticking off that way. You see how that is? Those are what we're changing up. See, this one has, the bottom one has that lonely one sticking off this way. The next one has the lonely one sticking off that way. I'm going to have this one, I'll have the lonely one sticking that way, and then the same, just, you know, just alternate then with the little one. I hope you can understand that crazy explanation. Okay, and there we go. Put that one there. And the smallest one is ready. I'll put a little bit dab on the back of this one. And we want that one going this way. Okay. Now before I put these in, put the center in, I'm going to hit that with my sparkle. I've got that. Let me get that going. There we go. Lots of sparkle in the tip. And I'm just swiping over these petals. Everywhere I can see a petal sticking out gets a swipe. This just adds a nice little shimmer to it. It's not really glitter. Although if you would prefer, you could use glue and glitter on these. I didn't want it that sparkly. I just wanted a nice little shimmer on the petals. Do you ever look at a flower petal closely, like out in the sunshine? And it has and they do sometimes, they do shimmer a little bit. There's a little bit of hot glue. Okay. Now I can put this bit in here. So I'm just going to put a nice little glob of hot glue there on the back of this. And I'll just press that down in the center here. And there's our nice magnolia center. So our flower's all ready to go on the card. Now it's really going to go fast. So let me get that hot glue gun out of the way. And I managed not to burn myself. Now if you get little spider webs on your projects from the hot glue gun, you can sit and pick them off like I'm doing right now. Or you could take it and hit it with your heat tool. You know, the one you use for embossing. Hit it with your heat tool a little bit. Don't get too crazy, you'll melt the glue on that's holding the flower together. But you just hit it with that heat tool, and those spider webs will kind of just dissolve away. It's like magic. Okay, let's put the card together. So I have my card base. I think I'll start with the inside first. And I'm going to glue this bit on, and then I'm just going to attach this with my repositionable tape. I'm using Tombow because, oh, you know what? I didn't tell you the sizes here. This is 5 3/4 by 4 3/4. No, by 3 3/4. 5 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then our bit of Mossy Meadow here is just an 1/8 inch bigger. Not an 1/8 inch per side, an 1/8 inch bigger. So it gives you that tiny little 1/16 of an inch border. You see that? So that would make my Mossy Meadow, that would be, let's see, that'd be 5 3/8 by 3 3/8. Okay? So that's glued together, and I'm just going to put just a little bit of my repositionable tape on the back here. And I don't even have to worry about centering it, because later on I'll be taking this off anyway and stamping my my sentiment that I choose on here. So we know it's going to be a special day of some kind, because that's what's on the front here. Now this is 3 by 2, I believe. Or is it 3 by 4? Nope, it's 3 by 4. And it comes this way. It's already cut to the size in this nice little box of things. So again, I cut my Mossy Meadow just 1/8 of an inch bigger. That's right. So it's 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. And I can glue that one down with my Tombow. You notice I'm not using my arc glitter Dries clear glue. I would have used that on the flower had I not used the hot glue gun. Okay, and there we go. I think I got that lined up pretty good. But I can take a good look at that, and because it's the Tombow glue, I have a little bit of time to center it. Okay, so that piece is ready to go on my card. Then I have this piece, and that one I trimmed down. Remember, I trimmed the 1/4 inch off of each of those sides. So now this piece is 5 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then the Mossy Meadow I used on the back for the matting is again 1/8 of an inch bigger. So it's 3 7/8 by 5 7/8. And it's going to go on there just like that. Let's glue that on. Get that all lined up nicely. This really is a fairly easy card to put together. Come on, come on, come on. Line up there, line up there. There we go. And then this is our bit of packaging cardboard. And glue that on the back here. I already checked it to make sure that it's going to fit back there. That's always a good thing to do. Before you start gluing things down, check and make sure that you've cut them to the proper sizes. Okay, so there we go. That's on there. It's got just a little bit showing around the edges here, and it's just what we want. We don't want to be able to see this cardboard behind it. The same if you used glue dots or like foam tape or anything, any other things we use to pop things up. You don't want to be able to see them when you're looking at your card. Okay, so that goes on this piece right here, and we're going to center that on this piece. And then this piece will also get glued to the front here. So I'm kind of doing this all kind of not in any kind of special order. So this piece of cardstock, you might guess it's 5 by 7. And a little trick is if you cut this just a smidge bigger than 5 by 7, then you won't have to worry about your card base showing through. And by a smidge, I mean not even a 32nd of an inch. Yeah, so it's just a tiny bit bigger. Okay, and now we can put this on. Open that up, make sure I'm going to put it on the right way. And should we pop this up too? Let's pop this up too. Let me grab a piece of that paper here and cut that out. So while I'm doing this, I'll start doing my end of the video things. So if you have any questions or comments, make sure you leave them down below there. And I do get back to you. I check them. I guess there are people that do videos, don't check them, but I do. I don't know of any, personally, but... Okay, so we glue that on. If there are any Stampin' Up! Products that you'd like to purchase from this video, that would be wonderful if you used me as your demonstrator if you're in the US. Anyway, and you can do that through my Facebook page or my blog, and the URLs for those are down there too. And if you've liked the video, then be sure to hit that like button. Again, I check those things. It gives me a warm and fuzzy feeling when people tell me they like my videos. Plus it kind of guides me as to what y'all are interested in. So I'm flexible, you know. I just like to do crafts of any kind. And oh, and subscribe. If you want to subscribe to my videos, then you can do that down below there too. Hit that subscribe button, and they have I think it's a new feature anyway. It's new to me. And if you hit the subscribe button, a bell will come up, and if you click on that bell, then YouTube will let you know when I post new videos. Isn't that wonderful? You can go out on YouTube and it's going to say, she's posted more videos. So, do I want this down the bottom? I'm not sure I do. I'm going to shift this down just a tad here. See, I can still do that because I used the Tombow. And I think maybe I'll put that up the top here. I kind of didn't like it with this. So, I'll use Tombow since I have it in my hand. And I'll put that flower right there at the top. And there we go. Our card's finished. So, I told you all the wonderful things I had to say that I usually do at the end of the videos, and all that's left is for me to say, y'all take care, stay safe, and happy stamping.